Hello and welcome to our thought for the day on Thursday the 20th of January. Today I've chosen to read the option from Genesis chapter 8 verse 15 to chapter 9 verse 7. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so that they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in number on it." So God came out together with his sons and his wife and their wives. All the animals and all the creatures that move along the ground and all the birds, everything that moves on land, came out of the ark, one kind after another. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood, and never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease." Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. The fear and dread of you will fall on all the beasts of the earth and on all the birds in the sky, on every creature that moves along the ground, and on all the fish in the sea. They are given into your hands. Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. But you must not eat the meat that still has its lifeblood in it, and for your lifeblood I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal, and from each human being too I will demand an accounting for the life of another human being. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed. For in the image of God has God made mankind. As for you, be fruitful and increase in number, multiply on the earth and increase upon it." Don't we all love a happy ending? And the account recorded in Genesis of Noah and the ark has captured the imagination of children's picture book writers, Sunday school lessons and model creators for generations, recounting this story not just to the faithful but also to those of no faith, making it one of the best known Bible stories. God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark." That reminds me of the sense of freedom from isolation, so close to the experience of many recently. We can also reflect on the plight of those over the last few years that have had to endure confinement and isolation from loved ones, from touch, and from our essential social interaction. Bringing out living things from the ark would have been essential to once again repopulate the earth. Fittingly, Noah's first act after leaving the ark was to worship God by showing his gratitude for God's greatness through sacrifice. As it is the nature of true sacrifice, it was a costly offering to God. With limited numbers of each animal on the ark, Noah risked extinction by sacrificing some of them. It seems that even more pleasing to God than the smell of the sacrifice was the heart of Noah in his sacrifice. The sacrifice of an innocent animal to represent a sinner, a costly sacrifice but pleasing to God. This is clearly a link to the coming sacrifice, the lifeblood of God's Son, and therefore the atonement provided for human sin. Then God made this wonderful promise to Noah and to man. God promised never again to visit the earth with judgment by a flood on this scale, never again to destroy every living thing. This was a promise full of mercy. Noah's story illustrated many things that is demonstrated and available to us today. Our freedom, our faith, and our sacrificial heart, and his covenant of mercy in the light of this sacrifice. God promised that after the flood, the earth would have established seasons. It is debated that at this point there was profound climatic and ecological changes in the earth since creation. However, this speaks to me of a comforting rhythm to the seasons that we know well, a predictability of God's creation. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease. Here's a thought. God gave Noah the same kind of instruction that he gave Adam at the beginning of creation, since Noah essentially began all over again. Yet now, Noah receives specific permission to eat animals. Permission Adam was not given as far as we know. If man could now eat and would eat animals, it seems for their protection God put them in fear of mankind. Possibly before the flood, man had a different relationship with the animals, when God did not put fear in the animals because man did not look to them as food. God also commanded Noah that if animals were eaten and killed, there must be a proper respect for the blood, which respects the life of the animal. Because man is made in the image of God, his life is inherently precious and cannot be taken without giving account to God. So murder is accountable to God, and a penalty must be paid and justice served. Well, the passage ends with, "Be fruitful and multiply." This point was repeated because it needed emphasis. After all, the earth badly needed repopulating. What a wonderful and rich story. I used to be fascinated when hearing the claims of archaeological discoveries of Noah's Ark. But in 2020, apparently, the Institute for Creation Research acknowledged that despite many expeditions, Noah's Ark had not been found and is unlikely to be found. But the demonstration in this story of God's freedom, God's faith, and the sacrificial heart still remains. Have a blessed day.